Albert, do I have anything to do before I bring on the Culture Blaster? He's very impatient. He's kind of a sort of he's got a diva quality, I think. But
he's like the wide receiver of the Mark Thompson show.
Yeah, you're right. He's a star. He knows he's a star. He covers music, movies, everything. Oh, it's culture. He's the Culture Blaster. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Michael Snyder, everyone. Hello, great Culture Blaster.
Speaking of wide receivers, shout out to Deshaun Stribling. Man, he looks like a secret, like unbelievable great deal on the part of the 49ers and their draft unit.
How many games do the 49ers win this year, Michael?
12.
You agree with that, Albert? They've got a very tough schedule. They travel overseas twice, I think, or,
They do.
I like 11. 11 to be safe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's close enough.
All right.
I do pay a lot of attention to the political coverage here on the Mark Thompson show, and I just have to say, in reflection of that, with the money available on the prediction markets and the riches gained by market manipulation, it's no surprise that who is now selling access to himself as the Orange Oracle. I can't believe he's...
OrangeOracle.com?
Yeah. Is anybody else confused by Trump's talk about his massive ballroom, too? I mean, according to Stormy Daniels, there's no need for anything large down there.
I see what you got.
Okay. And finally, before we move on to the films, there's all this news about his ever-present assistant, a.k.a. the human printer. But the biggest surprise to me was that Trump can play the harp, if you know what I mean. I thought he was too old for that sort of thing. No. Nonetheless, the ugliness continues.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened to this country. But,
but we have you, great Culture Blaster. Tell me about the distractions for all that's happening in the way of movies.
Well, speaking of distractions, I knew going in that our lead movie review would be one of kind of capitulation or one of we knew what we were getting. And in fact, I deliberately chose between two possible screenings the other night, one being of the latest Insidious horror movie. And I thought, I know what I'm going to get there. I see so many horror movies, and there are a couple that I'm going to mention today that are actually quite good.
You love your horror movies.
I do when they're well done. But Mutiny stars Jason Hardman Statham, and I just knew that if nothing else, it would be action business as usual. There would be fight scenes of note. There would be some snarky comments and a lot of muttering. He's kind of like the Popeye of action stars, Statham, with that. You do your famous Jason Statham impression.
Yeah, he does. He talks like this, Jason Statham, man.
Right. Well,
I don't know. Well, I do him from the bank job. Yeah. I know what you've done with those photos, but
considering the Popeye connection, it's great that this one, Mutiny, this movie, it's largely on a boat. I don't.
Is it a remake of?
No. In fact, there's no specific Mutiny. Let me give you the details of this, and we'll get through it quickly. So, in Mutiny, Statham plays a former London cop, a Bobby, if you will, who was always about doing the right thing despite endangering his career. He was brave, he was noble, but, he wasn't by the book. He was a guy that just colored outside the lines. And now he's working in Thailand for a pretty renowned and wealthy businessman who has his own shipping business. And so he is that guy's bodyguard. But someone tries to take him out, and it's right on the verge of the sale of the business to a consortium that may or may not have nefarious ends in mind.
Wow.
And Statham's character, Cole Reed, the bodyguard, is of course accused of the murder when in fact he did everything he could in his power to prevent this guy from getting killed. And by the way, one of the cool things about this movie is the fact that the billionaire is played by an actor that I'm really amused by, Ramon Tikram, and he shows up in another movie that we're going to talk about today. But, for that, we'll wait. But in the meantime, so in order to figure out what's going on and why these people have killed the billionaire and what they have in mind for the shipping business, he stows aboard a cargo ship, and he's going to find out who was responsible for his boss's death. He had a great relationship with the guy. The guy has a son who's going to inherit the wealth of the sale.
So this is personal for Jason Statham's
It's
character.
always personal, mate.
Yeah, okay.
And it just was business as usual. Like I said, there's a lot of great fight scenes. Annabelle Wallace, of all things, the woman who was one of the lead actresses in Peaky Blinders, and she's done a number of really interesting films and TV projects. Plays kind of a hard-ass, naval officer type who is also on board the ship. And, she's a do-gooder, much like the character played by Jason Statham. And the two of them have to uncover what's going on, why it's happening, and get to the people responsible and bring them down. So this is directed by Jean-Francois Richet, who's a French director. He doesn't have a lot in his filmography, but he did do a movie with Gerard Butler called Plane that I rather enjoyed. And this is just junk food. Plain and simple, so to speak. And I just thought...
But you know who the good guys are, you know who the bad guys are, and let's get it on.
Right, you know what's going to happen and why it's going to happen. It's opening wide today. Again, if you're a Jason Statham fan, it's more of the same.
Sure.
Is it mediocre? Yeah, kind of.
Right.
Is it entertaining? Yes.
Okay.
It's Mutiny. Okay, let's move on to something a little more intriguing. And it is a horror movie, but it is that elevated horror, meaning low on blood and high on dread. And in fact, let's go a little further. It's an existential horror movie. It's called It Ends. Talk about something with portent. Wow. And essentially, this movie is about a bunch of friends who go out on a little jaunt in the car. I think they've just graduated from college and they're about to begin their lives and their careers. And they get together to go out for, some fun and whatever. And they find themselves on a never-ending road, a road to nowhere. It keeps going and going and going. The turnoffs are not where they expect them to be. And every time they pull over and stop, their car is swarmed by like crazy people, like lunatics attempting to do them harm. So they have to keep driving. And that is the essential nut of It Ends. They're going to keep going. The question is, can they get off the road? Why are they on the road?
Where do they stop to go to the bathroom?
Well, that's another issue. They do have
do
to
they
stop
cover
occasionally. They have to be very fast. They start timing things. When are the people going to start swarming them?
Oh, really?
The bathroom breaks.
Is that right?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That ruins a little of the tension, Mark.
Well, it seems like an obvious thing. A bathroom break, and then where do they eat? How long does this thing go on?
What's interesting is they don't find themselves particularly hungry. I believe they have one Cliff Bar in the car.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, they never run out of gas, and they keep on going. So,
okay. Well, maybe that's part of the magic of the road. That it keeps on going, but it keeps you refueled.
Well, to me, it reminds you of the potential for life to be a repetitive, unrelenting journey forward with no ultimate reward. But that said, director Alexander Ullum has done something very creative. He also wrote the script, and obviously he has 4 actors that are playing the buddies. Phineas Yoon, Akira Jackson, Noah Toth, and Mitchell Cole, and they're very, very good together, and their personalities unfold over the course of this journey. And I just have to tell you, it's kind of brutal and fascinating. And, there are no easy answers in It Ends, but I think it's incredibly well done and very, very creative.
Is there a lesson for us in It Ends, Michael?
Yeah, the lesson is, it never ends. Or when it does end, you wonder, what have I done?
No, I see.
Prior to the ending.
What did you call it? Brutal and what?
I don't know. Whatever.
Do you listen to what you say? I've got to. Okay, never mind.
These movies are low budget, high reward when they work well. Okay. It's called It Ends, and it is in select theaters.
All right. What's next, so great culture blaster?
Let's move on to something I thought was a little sweeter, something more for the family, something based on a beloved book from back in the day, I believe a British book. It's called The Magic Faraway Tree.
Sure.
An author named Enid Blyton wrote this thing, and it's been adapted to the big screen. Written by a guy by the name of Simon Farnaby, and he actually plays a role in this, and he is a British actor and comedian and screenwriter, and he was one of the creators of the massive international franchise Ghosts.
Oh.
He's one of the ghosts in the original British version. He's one of the executive producers of all of them throughout this grand world of ours, and he's also a guy who was responsible for writing the script to Paddington 2 and Paddington in Peru. He's got a real kind of connection to these family-oriented projects.
And he stars in this?
No, he does not star. He has a supporting role, which is very, very amusing. And the cast, speaking of which, we'll get to it, a tremendous bunch of British actors.
But he did write this, that guy.
He wrote the screenplay to this particular
The Magic Faraway Tree
movie. Yes, so it's all about a couple, Tim and Polly, and they have 3 kids, And Polly has a certain facility with technology, and she finds out that the refrigerator that she helped design for this massive multinational corporation that's a big success everywhere reads people's needs and wants via a secret camera. And she decides, this is an invasion of privacy. I want nothing more to do with this company. So at that point, her husband, who was basically a house husband taking care of the kids and kind of a wannabe musician, and again, played by Andrew Garfield, and she is played by Claire Foy. I want to make that clear. So, great couple of actors as the husband and wife decide they're going to take their 3 kids and go to the countryside, find a nice place to, kind of pursue their dreams. He wants to, of all things, he wants to perfect the greatest pasta sauce ever. He wants to grow tomatoes. He figures he's going to be able to do that on the countryside. And they get out to the place that he's able to afford for them, and it's run down, ramshackle, and he does everything he can to make it a home for them. But in the meantime, the kids are displaced, and the youngest of the 3, maybe she's the middle child. No, I believe she's the youngest. She decides to go out into the woods where she's been warned away, and she discovers fairies are real. And she meets a fairy played by Nicola Coughlan from Bridgerton and Derry Girls, and she's a very, very funny actress, and encounters an actual other world where there are different subworlds that they can go to and realize their dreams and their wishes. And of course, that old adage, be careful what you wish for, you might get it. That comes into play here in this world of wishes they ended up going to. So you've got really terrific British actors, including Nonso Anansi, obviously Nicola Coughlan, Jessica Gunning. They're all pretty wonderful. And you even get Jennifer Saunders playing the Claire Foy character's mean-spirited mother, a successful businesswoman that can't understand why her daughter would have married this schlub and moved out to the boondocks. So, it's a lot of fun. Oh, and by the way, a villain turn by no less than Rebecca Ferguson, who is so terrific on the TV show Silo. It's a lot of talent. It's not great, mind you, but it's rather charming and sweet and it's just enjoyable to watch something like this occasionally. And I'll give it a recommendation. I thought The Magic Faraway Tree, at this time of year, in the summertime, as we're heading into the school year, this would be a good thing to take the kids to go see.
All right. Well, there you go.
And it is, how do we say this, opening wide. Okay. So, I wasn't really excited about Spa Weekend because I thought it would be a conventional comedy, albeit one with women doing over-the-top things as opposed to men. It's one of those girls' night out type movies. You know what I'm talking about, that kind of film.
Sure.
And we've seen films where the guys go on a bender, and this is the equivalent of this, the distaff equivalent of it. As a birthday treat for one of their number, 3 women of a certain age who have been lifelong friends decide to head for an upscale spa, and they decide to not invite their hot mess of a 4th friend who shows up anyway, and chaos ensues at this fancy spa. They're all, for the most part, LA-based, and talk about a lot of talent here. They are played by the women Anna Faris, Isla Fisher, Leslie Mann, and Michelle Buteau, all of whom are very adept at comedy. And, I wish the script had been better. Let's put it that way. What's weird is you've got these talented comedic actresses stuck in a formula with a less than hilarious script that they do their very best to salvage, but you can see every gag and plot turn coming at you from miles away. So this is directed and co-written by, and this is the weird thing, Scott Moore, who scripted The Hangover, which is the model for these kind of raucous, raunchy ensemble comedies. A broad comedy about another celebration. In this case, it's a birthday at a spa, but another celebration that goes off the rails. Spa Weekend is opening wide. It seems like something you might watch at home.
Oh, really?
When it's available, but it's not really great.
Even with all those stars.
Again, Isla Fisher plays the unhinged member of the quartet, and boy, she works it as best as she can. And Michelle Buteau, she's a real find. She's very, very funny, implicitly funny, and she does what she has to do. And, Leslie Mann and Anna Faris are familiar, and they're old hands at the comedy game. I wish it had been funnier.
Wow. So Spa Weekend gets gets a pass
it gets
from
it gets a shrug.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, it's a shrug.
What else do you have a great culture blaster? And sadly, our time is short.
I understand your time is short. Let us get to the final movie of the selections today, and it is available streaming on Shudder, and it is called Nightborn. And Nightborn is about a young couple, and they are played by one very familiar actor, and that would be Rupert Grint, who is Ron Weasley from the Harry Potter movies, and he's, of course, a grown man now, and an actress from Scandinavia, Sidi Harla. And the two of them are married, and they decide, this is kind of a little parallel to the Magic Faraway Tree. They decide to live in the boondocks at, I believe, her grandmother's old home. And so they're out in the Finnish countryside, and they want to have a family, and they make love in the woods because, what are you going to do when you're in that situation?
Right.
And the child is born, and it is clearly something's wrong with the kid. And so this movie is kind of about the pain, drain, and depression that can plague new mothers, kind of, but it's given a folk horror, body horror treatment by the filmmakers behind the super creepy film Hatching.
So would it fall into the horror-ish category?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and it's not funny in any way.
Rosemary's Baby and all that.
Okay.
There's something wrong with this kid, and is it because of a connection to the land? Is it
right?
Yeah, we don't know what it is, but it also plays havoc with mom, and the relationship between the mother and father is thrown askew. This is directed by Hannah Burgholm and co-written by her with Ilja Routsi, and they made a very cool film, Hatching, but I really, really liked it, and I think this is incredibly well done, and it is, a creep show, and there are some pretty horrific moments, but honestly, I just thought it was worth checking out, and if you like this sort of thing, it is streaming on Shudder, which is a streaming service dedicated to horror and that ilk.
Give me a quick TV show, and then I will recapitulate what you have said.
Okay, so just this past weekend, Lanterns debuted. It's an unconventional 8-episode police procedural inspired by DC's Green Lantern comics. It's on HBO, and what it does is it introduces this combative buddy cop duo. There's a cocksure veteran named Hal Jordan, who, if comic book lovers are aware, and they should be, is one of the main Green Lanterns in DC Comics.
I see.
And a disciplined rookie named John Stewart, played by Aaron Pierre. Kyle Chandler is Hal Jordan. Aaron Pierre is John Stewart. And they are Earth-based members of an interstellar peacekeeping force called the Green Lantern Corps, whose officers each wear a cosmically powered ring that can respond to their will, enabling flight and creating temporary constructs to help them in their crime fighting. But despite that milieu being super heroic, this series, which was directed by the showrunner of Ozark, Chris Mundy,
that was great.
in conjunction with Damon Lindelof of Lost and the comic book writer Tom King, is much more grounded. They describe it, and this is accurate, so I'm going to repeat the description. It is much closer to True Detective than, say, Superman, although it's part of that Superman milieu. You don't have to know anything about the comic book movies to jump on board if you're okay with the sci-fi subtext, and it references elements of DC's movies. The dual leads have amazing chemistry. Kyle Chandler is just great. Aaron Pierre was the star of Rebel Ridge, one of my favorite films of a year or two ago, which was kind of an update of Rambo. And you can see Lanterns on Sunday nights via HBO. And you know what I really like is how the interplay between these two guys tells a lot about the consequences of their choices. I think that's kind of cool. Supporting cast is good. Jason Ritter and Kelly MacDonald.
Wow, they got a lot of good pedigree. Milieu is a ding word, says Tom.
It's good stuff. I love Lanterns.
Well, Michael, you said a lot today. I know that you like Reacher. Also, I know you mentioned that last week, and Lanterns is the police procedural inspired by the Green Lantern comics. It's pointed out here by someone that the Green Lantern that you're talking about is a different Green Lantern than I thought I saw this in the Marvel Green Lantern.
There is no Marvel Green Lantern. It's
Okay,
DC.
I don't know. I don't know. Not to be confused with the Marvel Green Lantern is what Phineas says.
Phineas is wrong. There is no Marvel Green Lantern.
Phineas
I'm sorry,
is
Phineas.
wrong.
We love you, Phineas.
Well, would you like to apologize? I mean, I think maybe.
Yes, I'm very unhappy with everything I've heard
Let me
on your
say,
show.
the mythology is way too complex in the
sorry.
comics.
Right.
There was a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Thank you, Drop. There was a Green Lantern in the 40s. It was a guy named Alan Scott, and they kind of retconned the whole thing. And Hal
Whatever.
Jordan.
Yeah.
You either know it or you
Y'all
don't.
can all go to hell, and I'm going back to
And
Texas.
you don't have to know
All right.
any of
So
this stuff.
you don't need to know any of this stuff.
It's
Anyway, he
wrong,
likes
it was
lanterns.
stupid, and I'm trying to be a better person.
It's on HBO. Nightborn is the Rupert Grint C.D. Harla thing. It's creepy. It's weird. He kind of likes it. It's horror-ish. Baby born in the woods, or baby born as a result of a lovemaking session in the woods. Anyway, there's some woods involved, and it gets creepy because the baby ain't normal.
Supernatural. So
Nightborn is what that's called.
If you're okay with Rosemary's Baby, this will be a walk in the woods.
Spa Weekend is the birthday trip where three friends decide to go to a fancy spa. They leave one, the kind of weirder friend, behind, but she happens to be there anyway. And hilarity ensues, except for the fact that Michael says the hilarity doesn't ensue. He feels the script needed work, and it needed more work than they had time to give it.
Everything
so
you expect is going to happen happens.
Spa Weekend, predictable and missable. The Magic Faraway Tree, one of the creators of Ghosts, has a supporting role in this.
And wrote the script.
The couple with the three, and wrote the script, couple with the three kids finds out the refrigerator reads people's needs and wants from a camera attached.
That's superfluous information. That's why she quits her job and they go into the.
All right, you said it. I don't know if it's superfluous or not. You tell me when you're saying stuff that I don't need to jot down. Clara Foy, Rebecca Ferguson from Silo, and Andrew Garfield are in this one. Michael says it's really a nice family thing. It would be like a good movie to take the family to on the way to the last couple of weeks before school starts. It ends is the way he started.
Actually, I started with.
You started. Oh, well, you started. I'm sorry. It ends is the horror movie, elevated horror he calls it, which means there's not a lot of blood, but that you'll get the dread of everything. Friends go on a jaunt in the car. They find themselves on a road to nowhere. They can't get off the road, and they seem to be left in this perpetual awfulness of being on the road. I guess he liked it, sort of.
I very much did, and I thought it was original. And again, made on a shoestring to great effect.
Yeah. What kind of car are they in?
Kind of a conventional white van.
Okay.
No,
it's a van. It is a van, though.
No, it's a sedan. It's more of a
SUV, would you say?
Yeah, maybe. They take up so much room in the parking lot. The hell with those people.
Mutiny is where he started with Jason Statham. Listen here, Vogel, or whatever the F your name is. If those photos aren't back at Scotland Yard by Monday morning. He kind of talks like that.
Yeah, kind of.
That's from The Bank Job, which is a great movie that he's in.
Yeah, that's actually a movie with a good script, by the way.
Yeah, Mutiny. Anyway, Jason Statham, business as usual. Annabelle Wallace is in it. Michael says, you get what you want with Jason Statham. Predictable, but, it's a popcorn movie if you like that kind of thing.
This is not one of his best, but you know what it was? It was a Jason Statham movie.
You know what I like about Jason Statham? He's not a tall guy. He's a short guy. Sort of a shorter person. I've seen him with his wife or girlfriend, and she's much taller than he is.
Amazonian.
Yeah, anyway. All right, I digress. But you can read, thank you, Culture Blaster. You can read the Culture Blaster, and I think reading him is even more enjoyable than listening to him.
And by the way, the current column is all about lanterns, Reacher, and Stewart Fails to Save the Universe. So if you want to see a little more in depth about those three TV shows.
How about that? That's super cool. You'll find it at thevoicesf.org. Michael Snyder's magic played out there. Thevoicesf.org. Michael?
Mark, I've given up on the Giants to an extent. I'll still watch. I'll still root. I know it's an exercise in futility. I'm excited about the 49ers and the Dubs. And I do want to point out that my friend Danielle and her band, Hers and the Blooms, have a new video single out called, this is kind of nice, and take it for what it's worth, Woman of Constant Sorrow. And it's worth seeking out on the socials. It's a good song and a beautiful video.
Check it out then. He comes and goes on a rainbow. The great culture blaster. He is Michael Snyder. Yeah. Bye-bye, Michael.
So long, Mark.